Well, hello and welcome back to the show that is going to share with you everything that you need to know about how to make money online. This is the G Live show. My name is Simon Lim, and today we want to welcome all of you once again to join us simply because we have a very spectacular guest here for you today. In just a short moment's time, I will, of course, introduce you to who he is, but really quickly, if I share my screen for just a moment, of course, we invite you, if you haven't already, to be a part of our GrooveAsia official community, which you will find right here on the actual page itself. In fact, let me turn on the banner real quick. Any one of the resources that you will be able to have right here on this page, you will be able to see it right there. But I want to take your direction, your attention over to the actual chat box, or if you give me 1 second, I will go ahead and type this into the comments so that you can actually see this right there on the screen. I'm going to click on this and highlight it. Go to facebook.com/groups/GrooveAsiaCM. And as you can see, this is where we are actually hosting this actual live stream right here, right now. So, of course, the cat is out of the bag. And of course, you don't want to be the cat because we're talking about the dog, more specifically, the Underdog Method here today with our very special guest, my good friend and yours as well, or it will be very, very soon, Mr. Fabian Lim. He is a close personal friend of mine. He is an expert in everything that he does. I have known this guy ever since back in 2006. When I was one of the top affiliates. One of my very first affiliate programs was promoting this guy's product. And of course, if you are here, you want to learn not just how to make money online, not just how to become a super affiliate, but also now, I guess, if you also want to learn about how you can be an underdog, meaning that you don't actually need to be an expert. You don't need to actually be passionate about anything that you are doing. The really cool thing is that Mr. Fabian Lim, he will, of course, be sharing with us exactly how you can do that. If you take a look at another one of our Facebook communities, you will also see that Mr. Fabian is being featured later on this week as well in the official Groove Digital Presents, which means that he will be sharing with us via webinar. If you haven't already, make sure that you come over to this Groove.cm official group and check out this page and take a look at exactly what this is being offered. A lot of really cool things. And today you are going to get a sneak peek into what we're going to be able to learn. So of course, this is good news for all of you who are a part of our private communities, because you hear it right here first as we share with you something extremely, extremely special. And of course, once you're on this page, make sure that you go to grooveover.to/GD presents Fabian Lim. I know that it is a mouthful, but go ahead and come back over here so that you will be able to find the link directly to it. And of course, register for the actual event that is happening this coming Friday at 2 p.m. EST. And I know many of us are always saying that, wow, it's in the middle of the night, it's not a convenient time. Well, guess what? For Mr. Fabian and myself, it's going to be at 2 a.m. our time. Mr. Fabian is from Singapore. I am here in Malaysia. It's going to be at 2 a.m. our time. And that's the start of his presentation. That's when he is actually presenting. And so if he's not using this as an excuse, why should the rest of us, right? So make sure that if you haven't already, that you go to our various communities and of course connect with us. So without too much additional ado, I do want to, well, first of all, say hi to a few friends who are saying hi right here. We got Alicia saying hello, ready for the sneak peek, and Trader Rob is also joining us, saying Eye of the Tiger is playing in his head simply because he is so excited. And yes, you know what? Mr. Fabian Lim is definitely one of those guys who will get you pumped up. He will get you motivated. I have known this guy for over 15 years. I've worked with him for just that long. And my very first seminar speaking in Singapore was as a result of the invitation by this guy all the way back in 2007. And for the subsequent next several years, I've also been back to back coming back to speak at his events. whether they are in Singapore, whether they were in Malaysia, whether they were in Indonesia or Vietnam or Thailand. I also followed him across pretty much all of Southeast Asia and around the world, as he also flew to the US and picked me up in San Jose, California. We flew to Vegas, we flew to LA, we went to the Napa Valley and all over. Yes, this guy, if you go back to the picture that you see his promotion for, this guy is also a pilot as well. This one is taken, of course, at the cockpit of his one of his jets. I've been on multiple of his jets. Actually, he bought one all the way from the US and flew it all the way back to Singapore. And so I cannot wait for all this lockdown silliness to be over so that we can connect again. We used to hang out multiple times every single year. I stayed in Singapore for over 2 years, hung out with this guy every single day. And of course, now I haven't seen him in close to a year and a half, almost 2 years, all because of this unfortunate pandemic. But because of the pandemic, that is why we want to turn crisis into opportunity. And that is why I want to introduce you to the man that I call my friend, a guy that I know is a millionaire maker. He changes lives. I followed him across all of the planet, the entire planet, and I've seen him do amazing things. And I believe as long as you also make the commitment to change your life as well, change it for the better, improve it, turn crisis into opportunity, there is but one man, one of the leading trainers, if not the top marketer, based in Singapore. And of course, I consider him to be a very, very close friend, none other than Mr. Fabian Lim himself, somebody that I consider not just the jack of all trades. People like to say that they're, jack of all trades, but in reality, they are master of none. This guy is the master of anything that you can consider internet marketing related, whether it's SEO, whether it's SEM, search engine marketing, pay-per-click, Facebook advertising, creation of websites, you name it. And today he's going to be sharing with us a very unique marketing angle where you can partner with anybody that you want and leverage on digital marketing as well as your network to become who you want to be. Even if you are an underdog, even if you don't have any of the supposed benefits and advantages of having a big name for yourself, this unique strategy will absolutely get you a head start when it comes to anything entrepreneurship related. So are you excited? If you are excited, give us a big fat yes inside of the comments and help me to give a virtual round of applause, a big hand to my good friend, even your future mentor. Let's welcome to the Groove Live stage, Mr. Fabian Lim. How are you?
Guys.
Good to see you.
Hey man, thank you, Simon. You have always been a gentleman and a scholar. Thank you for that amazing. I want to meet this guy. The way you're describing him, I want to meet this guy. Seriously. Okay, that's joking. Shout out to Alicia. How have you been? Has been over 10 years. My goodness. We are now 10 years older. It's been 10 years since I met, Alicia in Asia. It's been a while, ladies and gentlemen. And Simon says it best. We've been doing stuff for actually more than 15 years, Simon.
Crazy, right?
It was 2006. You were just a baby then, my goodness.
Your first product, which was AdWords Empire, and it inspired me, in fact. Right when I first heard of it, I didn't know if I wanted to promote. Of course, silly me, right? Because AdWords, which is Google Ads, that was my niche, right? That was something that I was in. And it was right after I left Google, literally the exact same month, August of 2006. And I was thinking, hey, do I want to promote this guy? Why would I want to do that? And of course, silly me, I was being silly for maybe a good 24 hours thinking about it, not realizing until Mr. Fabian sat me down and said, hey, bro, man, this is a business where you are not supposed to be out there on your own. You're supposed to make friends. You're supposed to network. You're supposed to partner, right, with one another, especially if you find people who have the exact same or similar skills at you. as you, this is a rarity and this is an advantage. This is something that you, of course, have so much more to learn about, and I will play the part of your mentor if you allow me to do so. And good thing, I did not have an ego. Maybe I thought that I knew a little bit about one thing, which was Google Ads at the time, but I sure as heck knew nothing about entrepreneurship. I knew nothing about the networking side of the business. I knew nothing about the industry. And so, yes, I was very glad, and I still am, that I accepted this guy's invitation to extend his hand to help me during a time when I was completely brand new. So if you say, yeah, 15 years ago, not only do you and Alicia, as we mentioned earlier, right, said hi to, continue to look younger and younger because, hey, we're Asians and we're, as they say, I mean, black don't crack, and Asians, what is the phrase? I don't even know what they say, right? But regardless, we get younger and younger. And for all of us, we basically, take advantage, and we very much appreciate and are grateful with the opportunities to be able to continue to share this knowledge. And, I was very lucky earlier on because my mentor, my very first and only mentor, was all the way back in 2005. It was Corey Rudel. And literally 1 month right after I signed up with them at USD $8,000 for a 6-month mentorship, 1 month, that was exactly when his accident happened. And so I didn't really have anybody to bring me up, so to speak. I didn't have anybody to be that personal guidance and friend to me for a very long time. And yes, I knew Mike, and yes, I knew, Rich Sheffrin, and yes, I knew Donald Fox, but it wasn't really until I had the opportunity when Mr. Fabian Lim, at one of the darkest times of my life, invited me to live in Singapore with him and spend every single day for 2 years with him, that I learned so much more about what he's about to be teaching you. So if you think that there is opportunity, if you think that even though there is opportunity, but there's so many people out there who has such a bigger advantage than you, we being right here in Groove, right? There's so much that we can learn, but at the same time, some people, just like myself 15, 16 years ago, yes, we can work together, but at the same time, if everybody's promoting Groove, if everybody's trying to be an entrepreneur, if everybody's trying to do an agency, more or less, you are competing against each other in one way, shape, or form, aren't you? But one thing that Fabian really taught me is that there really is no competition. There is enough money for every single person in the world to be multimillionaires. There's enough opportunity. And one phrase that I learned from Mr. Fabian back when I was, thinking and asking, hey, so, why don't you just do this for yourself? And why don't you just go ahead and instead of taking me under your wing, Singapore is so small, opportunity is so limited, and there's so much competition out there already. Why don't you go out there and build it even bigger? And the one phrase that Mr. Fabian Lim taught me, if there's money to be made, there's money to be shared. And if he takes care of you as a brother, as a sister, as a friend, obviously it means that at that point in time, he really cares so much about you. And as we continue to work through the years, what I noticed and what I realized is that he's just not nice to his brothers and his sisters. In fact, brothers and sisters is very overrated, right? All the people that we call brothers and sisters, they will not bat an eyelid to stab you in the back and do their own thing and say bad things about you the moment that they turn around, right? So in reality, for me, if you notice, Fabian, very rarely, I think I can call anybody that I would consider a brother or a sister. I can name everybody in one hand. That's it. Okay. It's not like, when you're in Singapore, right? Everybody, hey, brother, what's up? Good to see you, right? Everybody is brother, especially when they need something from you. Then they're your brother. Then they love you. Then you are their family, right? If they don't, or the moment that you turn around, that doesn't happen. One thing that I learned from Mr. Fabian, regardless of whether you are his brother or sister, whether or not he considers you to be or calls you a brother or sister, even if you are just a public person that he meets at a seminar, I've seen him on the stage really coach somebody and help out people and nail down, talk to people individually from the stage whom he truly cares about, as if they are his friends, right? I've seen him create success stories out of people from all walks of life in different parts of the world. He truly cares about you, regardless of whether or not you are his brother or you are his sister. He cares about you because if he actually takes the stage, albeit virtual or maybe live in person, if one day we are lucky enough to meet him in person, for me, once again, right, then you will know he truly, truly cares about you. And that is a lot to say compared to many of the other fake gurus that unfortunately we have gotten more and more familiar with over the last several months, especially, but even beyond that, right? So for all of us who are here today, definitely consider this to be a huge opportunity, something that I consider to be a very rare chance that we get to meet somebody who will hold you by the hand, who will care about you and nurture you in the very same way as what he did for me, like he said, and what I continue to say to this day, right? Whenever there are opportunities, if there's money to be made, there is money to be shared. So if you want to share in the wealth, not just the physical wealth, like the literal wealth, but the wealth of information, the wealth of your own types of being able to be nurtured, the wealth of being able to develop yourself, then pay 1,000% to Mr. Fabian Lim. Okay, I know that we're in the virtual world. Many things are happening all around us. We got many things, your phone's gonna go off, just like mine just did moments ago. You're going to see all these things happening, your notifications on Facebook. Turn all those distractions off because you're going to want to listen to this guy. You will want to hear every single word that he says because it is life-changing. It is gold. And I speak from personal experience. Mr. Fabian has changed my life. And so very rare are you going to hear me say that about too many other people. Okay, so with that, I want to share whatever Mr. Fabian has with you. I don't know if he wants to give you a presentation. I don't know if he wants to give you a talk. I don't know if he has something to share, but I've been talking long enough. I want to give you, Mr. Fabian, this virtual stage, and I want the dance floor to be yours. So take it away. Let us know what wealth of knowledge you want to share with us today.
Thank you, Simon. Again, you're so kind, and really, thank you for giving us the first lesson, which I think all of us need to remind ourselves, regardless of experience. So my first message to all of you is this: there's so much that you can do on your own. And I do understand over here, I've been a digital entrepreneur for 18 years. So what I want to tell all of you right now is this: there's only so much you can do alone, on your own, as a solopreneur, as a super solopreneur. There's so much more we can do in collaboration. In fact, Simon took the words out of my mouth and kind of summed up what the Underdog Method is all about. And I'm going to give you a brief history on the Underdog Method, which let me just tell you very honestly, right? There's really nothing new under the sun if you are trying to wonder what is the Underdog Method all about, because you'll be able to relate when I share with you what it's all about. And it's really almost uncommon sense. It is uncommon sense. So it's not common, because if it's common, then everybody would have been doing it. This is what I call your typical classical uncommon sense. And by the time you're done understanding what the Underdog Method is, you're going to be asking yourself, why didn't I think of this? Well, do not worry about the thinking. Don't beat yourself to death. The key is to execute, because it's a very simple strategy and it makes a lot more sense right now. So let me give you some history here, right? I've been an entrepreneur for a long time. I'm an omni-channel guy, and I'm going to talk to you what omni-channel marketing is for those of you who are new. And omni-channel, by the way, goes beyond multi-channel marketing. Some of you are doing multiple channels. But omni-channel goes one step further, and we'll discuss what that further step is. So the underdog method essentially started off for me personally, well, last year, right? And just like any business owner, I do run businesses as well. We get hit when the pandemic starts and the government starts to, keep us at home and things like that. In fact, this entire um, rig that you are seeing me right now is a COVID kind of thing where I transform one of my rooms into a live stream setup. It is a fairly complicated setup, and you'll see it later on. But that's not the point, right? The point is that what do we do as digital entrepreneurs if the pandemic is here to stay? 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 years. Some countries is affected it. It's affected the citizens far more than others. I live in Singapore, where people are generally well behaved and obedient. I understand it's not the same everywhere else, but in Singapore at least, we are a small country, but easy to manage. We have very tough laws, and citizens generally listen. You will have that one or two odd person who maybe refuse to wear a mask, and you see them on the front page news tomorrow, thing like that. So the underdog method arose as the result of COVID-19 and the way we do business. So what I can tell you right now, off the cuff, without having to review overly too much, because my presentation, as Simon said, is tomorrow, but I do want to give you the purpose and the intent, and so that you can make a decision whether or not tomorrow is going to be worth listening to what I have to tell you. So again, the underdog method arose out of a crisis. And I remember some wise entrepreneurs say this, right? Entrepreneurs turn crisis into opportunity. And that's the first thing that struck me. Entrepreneurs turn crisis into opportunity. No, we're all fellow digital entrepreneurs. Forget about how many years we've been doing this business. Forget about how much money we're all making. The pandemic is a global reset. It's here to stay. And as far as I'm concerned, based on what I'm experiencing right now, and I think the same goes everywhere in the world, this pandemic is unprecedented. And this pandemic, personally speaking, for digital entrepreneurs who know what they're doing, is an unprecedented opportunity to get ahead. Why? Because, think about the last time you organized a Zoom, and how many of your audience were willing to even tune into a Zoom or go to webinar or Google Meet. Now the whole world has been trained, isn't it, in terms of how to come online. It's a simple thing for us entrepreneurs, digital entrepreneurs, but it's a very difficult thing for the layperson. But now even the layperson is used to video conferencing. The whole world has embraced video conferencing. In fact, it catapulted Zoom to become $1 billion business. The timing was just eerily amazing. Crisis into opportunity. So what I want you to understand is this, right? As much as obviously the crisis has affected very, very specific industries where face-to-face interaction enhances customer experience. We can think of events, seminars for sure. We can think of hospitality, retail, and the list goes on. But the truth is this: as far as we are looking at the SMB, the small business owner, this is where I want you to focus on, my friends, right? The small business owner, as far as I'm concerned, for the small business owner, this is an unprecedented time for them, because if they fail to embrace what we do online, they will probably vanish. And I literally mean vanish, like die, or at least die in their business aspect. So the point is that the world right now is so fragile, and simply the SMBs, the small business owners, haven't had the time to learn stuff like digital marketing, acquisition, landing pages, copywriting, conversion. Those of us who spend years trying to hone this art is at a distinct advantage. And this is herein lies the central concept of the underdog method. Let me now just go to some notes that I have for you so that we can just get going and have a very nice overview on, what I've planned for you for my presentation tomorrow. So the underdog method, there is a reason why I called it the underdog method. If you want to cheat, you can go to underdogmethod.com. I'm a very respectful guy. I'm not doing any opt-in, nothing. There's nothing there for you to, I'm not going to be taking your emails address and things like this, but it's just a landing page, underdogmethod.com, and you will see the outline of this business model, so to speak here. I have it on my iPad, so I'm just going to go ahead and get to the crux of it all. So let's get going here, right? What is the underdog method? This is the headline. I'm sure you guys know what a headline is. So this is the important summary message, the greatest benefit, how to generate long-term profitable income by leveraging your digital marketing skills and partnering with the underdog in your selected niche. A few things I need to clarify. Number one, I didn't say dog, I said underdog. I need to define underdog for you for sure. Number two, you're not the underdog. The underdog is the small business owner. Number three, I didn't say any niche. So herein lies something I want all of you to understand. As digital marketers, traffic times conversion equals sales. We are supposed to understand traffic generation. When you become a digital entrepreneur, digital marketer, the root of your skill set and the function of your profits is your ability to drive traffic. And traffic is, it's a lifelong skill. Now, there's also conversion. And here's the thing, my friends, right? You can go deep dive on traffic. It's a learnable skill, whether it's SEO, SEM, Facebook ads, social media, whatever, right? It's a learnable skill. It's a skill that you can master. But here's the problem, right? If you could be a traffic master, but if you were promoting crap, and the crap is the conversion, you are going to struggle with the profit because it's an equation. Traffic times conversion equals profits. And, I have trained thousands of beginners in the area of digital marketing. And I can tell you this, traffic is something that you can learn. But what you also need to learn in the conversion school is that, number one, not all product is equal. Not all services is equal. Not all opportunity is equal. And as well, not all niche is equal. Now, why do I say this? I say this because I'm sure you guys are familiar with the digital marketing agency model. And again, here, we're all here to learn. I'm not here to bash any specific industry, niche, trainer, guru, whatever. I'm just saying I'm here to share my knowledge with you. So let me just tell you one thing first, right? Digital marketing agency is basically a business model where you are going out there and helping businesses. What businesses? Any business. That is the problem, ladies and gentlemen. For the longest time, I hated this industry called the digital marketing agency. In Singapore, obviously, we have hundreds of agencies. And you know what? 90% of these agencies give the industry a bad name. Why? Because they cannot deliver. They cannot deliver results. But they cannot. The thing is this: have you ever figured out the root cause of the non-delivery? Why is it that 9 out of 10 digital agencies over promise and under deliver? You know this? I'm going to give you a revelation. Actually, the fault is not in their digital marketing execution. And let me say this again. Their fault doesn't lie in the digital marketing execution. So for all of you who are listening right now, I want you to relieve pressure from yourself, because I know many of you try very hard. You work very hard to run traffic campaigns and things like this, but the results are not necessarily forthcoming, not necessarily profitable. And I'm going to tell you this, okay? Your issue may not be in your execution of the digital campaigns. Now, of course, on the other hand, there are groups of people who are very superficial in their understanding on how, traffic or channels work, because they spend maybe 4 hours watching a YouTube video and they expect to become a Facebook expert. That's a separate story and a separate situation. And I'll address that later on, right? But what I'm going to tell you is this. The reason why 9 out of 10 digital marketing agencies fail, and this is not just in Singapore, it's anywhere in the world, it's not necessarily because of poor campaign execution. Actually, the root cause is them even agreeing to work with a product owner, a service owner, or in a niche that they had little to no chance of succeeding. That is a problem. In other words, even now, niche selection is crucial. Product selection is crucial. Services selection is crucial. And you will understand tomorrow when you come and I give you the full blueprint. I am going to share with you the full blueprint, by the way. Okay. So the problem here is that there are niches that you shouldn't be touching because of competition. There are products that you shouldn't be representing because products may not have the right margin. So mathematically, even if you did a fantastic campaign, it wouldn't be profitable. And there are many, many products. There are also services out there that you probably shouldn't touch because it doesn't have a good fit with the digital landscape. What I'm trying to tell you is this. I have more confidence in you and your digital marketing mindset and skill than I do have confidence in your entrepreneurship. Friends, here is the hard truth that I want to talk to you, right? Having digital marketing skill set is just half of the equation, unless that's all you want to do. And as you will see later on, you can just stick to digital marketing and campaign execution. That's half of the profits. That's half of the rice bowl. Because let me tell you this, right? The successful digital entrepreneurs among us are entrepreneurs, not marketers. We get involved in businesses. We involve and invest in businesses because that's where the real money is. And this is the whole premise of my Underdog Method, that we have been on the short end of the entire value chain. So I hint to you where I'm going with my subhead, right? Discover little known ways to profit share from businesses you didn't create. A few things are important over here. Number one, little known ways. In other words, the traditional in this industry has been charging a fee, wanting to be paid up front. Whether you're an employee or solopreneur, you always want to get paid up front. I'm trying to change your mindset to that of cost, in other words, playing price because I'm cheaper, I can execute this at a lower cost, to value, because value is undisputed. So what value are we looking at? Well, we're looking at the very least, uh, the ability to grow revenues. So forget about how much you think you know about digital marketing or even entrepreneurship. The question is this: can you effectively play the role of CRO? Now, what is CRO? CRO stands for Chief Revenue Officer. So, friends, Romans, countrymen, there's only one role that has longevity. The rest of it all are just charades. You have a place in this industry as long as you have the ability to grow revenues for businesses. So my question to you is this, right? Because again, we tend to get distracted where we determine our self-worth based on how much money I've invested in training, how much I know about a certain topic. No, guess what? No one cares how much you invested. No one cares how much you know. They care what you can do to help them make more money. M, M, M. So there's only one universal truth in business and entrepreneurship. Are you the revenue guy? Because if you're the revenue guy, the sky's literally the limit. If you're not the revenue guy, you're going to end up playing second fiddle. Now, of course, I am going to share with you how to become the revenue guy if you're not yet the revenue guy. But your problem is not solved. Because remember, traffic, time, conversion equals profit. So we have two dimensions to take care of. One is the traffic, which in business term means acquisition. Not enough. We still need to deal with conversion. But you see, here is the secret, right? Conversion, there are many things that affect conversion. I think you know this, isn't it? But what if you had a secret checklist that allows you to qualify or disqualify a business? Because if a business is inherently going to be weak in conversion, my point is stay out of it. Oh, now, of course, I need to digress here, right? A lot of people are confused by passion versus profits. Because when you're passionate, you close a blind eye or two to pursue whatever you want to pursue at all costs. And all I'm trying to say here is this, right? Passion does not equal profit. Familiarity does not equal profit. If you want to make money, if you want to be financially successful, let's all understand and agree. Passion does not equal profit. And if you want to become financially successful, then you focus on the profit, not the passion. So that's my perspective, right? It's only my perspective. I do not have to align with your perspective. You can have a different perspective. But again, what's universal is profit. Make more money is universal language anywhere in the world. In Singapore, in Malaysia, in the US, in Europe, it's universal language. Now, if you understand this, then you also understand that there are universally acceptable opportunities anywhere that you go in the world. And as we have learned right now, we don't even need to be physically there to add value. The question is this: can you help someone make more money? And if you can, then here's the good news. I'm going to teach you through the Underdog Method training how to go for the kill. And the kill is not just, by the way, profit share, that's stage one. I'm also going to teach you how to achieve equity share, right? Equity share. Negotiate for an equity share of the business that you didn't create. How about that? And there are a lot of advantages in doing that versus starting your own. Now, what is the problem? The problem is this, that whatever you're doing right now, I mean, look at it this way, right? If you are already profitable, even as a solopreneur, and you're happy with where you are, then forget about whatever I'm going to tell you because you're already happy and you're contented. No problem. The issue is if you are one of those that you have tried really hard, if you're working, 23 hours a day, and of course I'm exaggerating, and you're not getting your financial success, my question is this: what is the problem? What is the problem? Most of the time, the problem is the business model. Let me give you an example. When you ask a newbie, and you could be a newbie, right? Which means you're so new to digital marketing, and I give you a list of business models to choose, I'm willing to bet 9 out of 10, the newbie will choose affiliate marketing as a business model. The one with the talking about going to ClickBank, taking a product and getting up to 75% commission. Come on, we've all been there. There's nothing wrong with affiliate marketing. But you know what? It is the most difficult business model to get started as a beginner. Do you understand this? Do you realize this? Let me share with you the most difficult business models out there that a beginner shouldn't even touch. Now, of course, the guru who's selling you a course for their business model will tell you it's easy for sure. Now, difficulty is one thing, reward is another. I don't mind difficult. I'm game for difficult stuff. I think you are all willing to work hard, given, right? The fact that you're even here, given. The question is this: are you being adequately rewarded? Is there a better way? Is there a better business model where we can make more without having to work more? Where our initial sweat capital, we call this, which is known as active income, becomes passive along the way. Now, if you even take this criterion, active income become passive along the way, what business model can do that? Well, if you ran a real business and you hired employees, active income becomes passive income, but you have to become a business owner. The problem is this: most of the digital marketing business models do not really allow you to become a business owner. And even if they do, it's active income and more active income and more active income. You just get tired. Why? Wrong business model. Why? Because you're going after passion. You're going after sexiness. I mean, come on. The pitch for affiliate marketing has not changed over the last 20 years. It's so sexy. How would you like to make 75% of profits selling digital products? You can work anywhere in the world, work anytime, and you can pick any product you want. But the problem is this: based on the sexiness criteria, you will rank, affiliate marketing and ClickBank will rank really, really high. See, because people are just so thrilled. You are thrilled, isn't it? You want to make that first sale, that second sale. You want to tell the whole world, look here, I'm running a digital business. I'm a ClickBank marketer. It's really sexy. But does it have long-term profitability? Can you exit your business? And when I say exit, I mean sell your business for $1 million. You can't do any of these things. Because let me tell you this, right? And all the old folks among us will tell you, the shelf life of a product in ClickBank, maybe 3 to 6 months. After that, you're going to choose something else. After that, you're going to be choosing something else. And it is going to be a lot of activeness. The one that also has a similar parallel is dropshipping. Your product doesn't sell forever. You had better line up a whole series of products that you want to be introducing, and it's tiring. My point is this, right? If you think that promoting product A for 3 months and product B for another 3 months and product C, D, E is normal, then let's look at traditional businesses. Let's look at McDonald's. Let me ask you, after 20 years, has their Big Mac formula changed? Has has the taste of the Big Mac changed? The cheeseburger, the French fries? No, they're selling pretty much the same burgers they did 20 years ago. But their revenues have grown. I mean, look at every fast food chain over there. They don't have the best products, but their menu rarely changes, but they scale. Why? Because wouldn't you like to do that? Wouldn't you like to have a product with a shelf life of 20 years and you never have to tweak anything because, well, the product has a shelf life of 20 years. So what we consider normal as digital marketers, because, again, we are kind of brainwashed in the industry where every guru will tell everything's easy. Let's talk about Amazon marketing. Amazon marketing, easy? Are you kidding me? Right? Are you kidding me? Amazon marketing is easy. Do you know how many steps and modules of training you have to go through to even get to be pitching a successful Amazon product? And how long is your shelf life? 90 days before your competitors come in, outsmart you, outbuy the same product that you got from wherever, China maybe. So Amazon marketing, drop shipping. You see, again, I apologize. I'm not knocking any one of these things because I'm not doing any of these things here. I'm just asking you to think very carefully when someone tells you it's easy. Now, let me tell you this, right? Can a drop shipping guru tell you that drop shipping works? Of course, it works for him. But let me tell you this. Any digital entrepreneur worth his salt who's really good at Amazon marketing, who is a millionaire with affiliate marketing, even in ClickBank, you know what? These guys could do anything and still succeed because they have the depth of knowledge. So they so happen to represent affiliate marketing and ClickBank, but these people could really do anything because they probably have a large list of subscribers that took them 10 years to build. Of course, they don't tell you those things. They just show you the demo where they click a button and they make 50 grand tomorrow, and then you realize that you don't have that list and your list is 0 or your list is 2, which is your dog and your grandma, maybe 2, right? And you don't make nearly as much money as you should. You know what? That's the reality, right? We get hoodwinked as beginners because, again, we want to follow passion. We want to follow what's sexy. We're not thinking typical entrepreneur or business attributes. What makes a business successful? I want to focus you on what makes a business successful. And I want to also share with you, impart with you the fact that not all businesses are created equal. Look here, you can continue running your digital agency. You can, but it makes no sense. For example, in my opinion, this is purely my opinion. Please don't make an enemy out of me. I'm just speaking what I practice. So let me share with you what I practice. I also have a digital marketing agency, but I've never run Facebook ads to find clients. Why? Because I know that that's not the way to do business. Because I know that if a client comes to me and he has a shitty offer that no way can convert, if I accept this opportunity because I want to put food on my table, right? For example, I'm going to spoil my reputation. I'm going to give this business owner bad hope because I literally need to do the impossible to turn him around, and not all businesses can be turned around. If you have low margins, you have low lifetime value, I cannot help you. You are natural death. And by me participating in your marketing is accelerating your natural death. The point is this, my friends, if only we were all more honest. And the best way I figured out is this, right? Even for myself, because I eat my own dog food here. When I work with clients, my deliverable is revenue growth. Can I ask all of you to put this into your head? Type down in the comments, revenue growth. That's your KPI, my friends. That's your KPI. Very simple. If you believe you can create revenue growth, go for it. If you cannot do it, don't touch it. Because everything else is a distraction. Come on. What, mean you run ads for impression? You run ads to do branding? Well, branding is a real KPI. It's just not for digital marketers. It's for those big time agencies who run radio and TV ads and all this kind of stuff. Media buy, we call them, right? We are performance marketers. We are performance marketers, my friends. And the only thing that people care about is revenue growth. So my question to you is this: can you or can't you create revenue growth? I mean, look here, come on. I've been in this industry for a long time. 18 years. I think it's long enough. Okay. Nothing else makes sense. Think about this. Nothing else makes sense. Now, I want to be fair to you here. Profit sharing, profit is nice to be responsible for, but remember this, in the accounting term, profit involves you knowing the cost structure as well. And some businesses are just really high costs. So do I put it upon you to improve profit share? Well, that's an entrepreneur's responsibility. Now, if you are a shareholder, obviously, then you jolly well figure out how to improve profit, because the more money that you can bring in and retain, the more money gets distributed to you. You have a natural incentive to maximize profits. But I wouldn't put that on your shoulder as a digital entrepreneur. But for sure, I'm going to put on your shoulder revenue growth. You see, when we are now aligned, now, and you know revenue growth is a KPI, let's assume, right? You're on board with me. Now, let's see you choose which businesses to spend your time in, regardless of how you're being compensated. How about that? Whether you're a digital agency, you follow my Underdog Method or whatever the case. Forget about it. It doesn't matter right now, because all it matters is revenue growth. Can you create revenue growth? See, once we are aligned and we have crystal clarity on what we want to achieve, which is revenue growth, now I believe you'll be more discerning as a digital marketer, a digital entrepreneur. You want to acquire new clients via Facebook ads? Go ahead. Your KPI is still going to be revenue growth. So let's see, will you pick any business, promote any product or any service if your only method of compensation is revenue growth? And of course, let's be clear, when we say revenue growth, we mean your compensation is tied to the revenue growth, and therefore it's going to be a percentage of revenue growth. So now we are speaking the same language, right? Now it's no more, oh, I'm Fabian Lim with 18 years of digital marketing experience. Who cares? I'm the Facebook ad guru. Who cares? You make me money, I'll give you a share of the money. This is where, Simon aptly remembered what I told him 15 years ago. And I want all of you to have the same mindset. I mean, I'm just sharing some things with you, right? And is this quote, by the way, quote unquote, if there's money to be made, there's money to be shared. Full stop. Right? If I help you make $1, I don't think you have any problem giving me some change, right? 15 cents, 20 cents on the dollar. Then you will say, Fabian, I want you to make 100,000. 20,000 is yours. As long as I can cover my bills, my incremental cost is covered, by all means. Once we are aligned in this area, many things make more sense. The problem is this, right? Let me tell the root cause, by the way. And this is just a chit-chat session. The root cause is that we were trained and conditioned right from young. Remember that study hard, You go to good school, get good grades, and then after that, what happens? You get a good job. Honestly, the evil of the world was get a good job. Why? Because your job and your compensation, I am pretty sure, unless you're a salesperson, right? Commission only salesperson, your compensation was based on your academic performance. So now there's a misfit between what you can deliver. And of course, to be honest, there are skill sets out there that are not aligned with revenue growth. We understand that, right? You could be accounting, you could be HR, and you're discharging your skills because you still need to do bookkeeping and things like that. But my friends, all of you who are here, you're an entrepreneur. Am I missing something? Aren't you an entrepreneur? Do you not want unlimited income? So forget about the norms, right? Forget about our neighbors, our schoolmates. You are on your own, buddy. And I'm saying this, if as long as you are listening to what I'm telling you, hey, the only metric that matters is revenue growth. Now, the good news is this: if you can align with me and agree with me that, and swear an oath to yourself that you are now, from this day onwards, commit to developing skill sets that contribute to revenue growth, you'll be on your way to financial success. Now, why don't we talk more about these things, by the way? Why do you wait for Fabian Lim to come and for this Asian brown guy to come and tell you these things? There are reasons. People have their own specializations. And to be honest with you, the reason why I'm giving you the raw truth is because I've got nothing to lose. I have absolutely nothing to lose. It doesn't matter whether you like me or not. I'm on my own trajectory already. I have my own businesses. I have my own future. And my future does not depend on you. So you cannot dislike me. You cannot, hate me. I don't care. And because of that, I can be upfront with you. Honestly, I don't know any of you right now except Simon Leung. I'm not trying to be offensive. I'm just trying to be frank with you because, I have this one amazing opportunity to address you guys over here at Groove, and, kudos to Mike Fusame and the gang, Donald Fox as well. Donald Fox came to Singapore more than 15 years ago as well. We're talking about 2007. So, I know all these great people and I know how much effort it takes to lead a community. Is not easy because, in a community, you're always going to have dissenting views, alternative views, and you cannot please everyone. So I have just one shot. I'm trying to say this like my chance of a lifetime to go to Hollywood, whatever, except not acting with you. I'm telling you my real uncensored truth. So the key is this. You need to decide where you want to play. Okay. I don't expect all of you to convert to suddenly become entrepreneurs. Maybe you want to focus on running Facebook ad campaigns because that's your comfort zone, you're comfortable, you're making enough money, or maybe you're a specialized digital agency just doing Facebook ads. Well, please, by all means, keep doing what you're doing because you're probably not my target audience. My target audience are, self-styled individuals who are asking a very basic question. If I am guided in the right direction, can I, as a single person, create as much income as I reasonably can, regardless of where I am in the world? And the answer would be, if you're that person, I have good news for you because the answer will be yes. Yes. But it's not just all digital marketing. You just need to understand digital marketing is a subset of entrepreneurship. And truth be told again, because I've trained digital marketers. Some of them are brilliant at campaign execution. They fall flat when it comes to entrepreneurship. And without the entrepreneurship, you are going to struggle with conversion. So conversion is not about just copywriting and landing pages and call to actions. That's the entrepreneurial side of conversion, which I'm going to be delving in the Underdog Method in niche and business evaluation. That, to me, is a critical success factor. when you choose the right niche and the right business to work with or partner with, guess what? Half your battle was won already. If you choose the wrong niche and the wrong business, my view, right? No amount of traffic wizardry can save you. So you decide where you want to play. There are always going to be leaders. There are always going to be followers. And what I'm saying as a hypothesis is this: have you considered if you can create revenue growth? That's the reason why I make you move towards there. Vero, I will answer you very, very shortly because the answer is not so straightforward. Okay, thank you for asking. The good news is this, my friends, right? The motivation to focus on revenue growth as a true measurable KPI. And I need to say this, by the way, it doesn't matter that you are, someone else is doing the closing or the conversion. And even if the conversion is done offline, it doesn't matter. The question is this: did the acquisition come from you? Are you responsible for acquisition of prospects, leads to prospects to customers, right? Did the lead flow come from you? If it did, then you have a hand to play in the revenue growth KPI. And let me tell you why the revenue growth KPI is such a wonderful and powerful negotiating factor. Well, let me take you 2 steps back. Let me ask you this, right? For business owners, people who invest money, whether buying a franchise or starting a business, let me ask you this. For his business or her business, what is his responsibility? What's the business owner's responsibility? Isn't it revenues first and then profit maximization second? I mean, can the business owner outsource that revenue responsibility to a salesperson? He could. But ultimately, if the salesperson fails, he failed. So my point is this, right? The reason why we must salute and honor business owners out there is because they take financial risks, and the revenue responsibility falls squarely on their shoulders, whether they like it or not. It's implied, right? Because the only reason why you start a business is because you believe that, well, investing 5,000 will make me 500,000. You are taking the mindset of risk and reward. And the beautiful thing about revenue share is that, hint, hint, it is the business owner's KPI. So guess what? When you, this little stranger, this nobody, just armed with a digital skill sets, choosing the right business and right niche, walk in and you deliver revenue. Guess what? You are doing the job of the business owner. And here's a beautiful thing, my friends, right? Because again, I'm going to share with you the checklist of what the Underdog Method is. It's going to be biased towards digital acquisition. So come on, we're not God here. We cannot help all businesses. Not all businesses will thrive under our watch. And that's why we have to be selective. In other words, the next thing I want to share with you, I want you to type this down for your own good, is this concept called play to win. Can you please do me a favor? Do yourself a favor, type down in the comment box, play to win. I want you to understand this, right? You only go to war and you fight a battle that you can win. The odds must be for you, not against you. So you want to play to win. And that's the same philosophy you must take, whether or not you founded the business or not. If you're going to participate and spend time and spend money and spend energy, you play to win. That's an entrepreneurial instinct. So when you can have this play to win mindset, along with revenue growth as KPI, then you're absolutely clear, right? Because my KPI is revenue growth, let me first assess the company. Does it have the right products, services? Does it have a clear, defined UVP, unique value proposition? What about the competition landscape? You see, what I'm trying to say is this, right? This, digital agencies almost never care about competitive landscape. In fact, those of you who do SEO as well, I've been teaching SEO for the last 15 years. The first lesson I teach them is this. SEO is not about how great your optimization skills is. To win in SEO, the easiest way to win with search engine optimization as traffic method is to find a lucrative niche, that's half the equation, with competition you can beat. Competition you can beat. Please, again, a few lessons here because we're going to forget this. Please help me type down in the comment box, competition you can beat. So I'm kind of revealing to you slowly, right? The Da Vinci Code, the code to success. You need to play to win. But to play to win, you must face competition that you can beat. So in your evaluation, competition assessment becomes necessary. Again, but my point is this. The SEO guy just wants to be paid a fee to do SEO. But I'm telling you, whether you win or lose in SEO has less to do with your SEO on-page optimization skills than it has to do with the strength of the competition. I mean, we all guys know these things really well. You wouldn't want to compete for bank loan to try to rank for page one, number one for bank loan or credit card loan in America, because we know the chances of beating the competition is zero. You're going to find the Citibanks on page one of Google, right? For this keyword. But we know that local SEO, when you now go for bank loan or credit card loan, Maryland, you may have a slight chance. But bank loan, credit card loans are generally bad keywords to work on SEO because these are institutional keywords, which means the guys who are as interested as you to rank for these keywords are large institutions. Let me give you the science behind all these, isn't it? Because I know some of you know SEO. They have natural competitive advantage that you don't have. What do they have? They have page rank, right? Institutions, banks, governments, EDUs, the Harvards of the world have page rank you cannot beat. You must be crazy to go after, fight with Harvard for a keyword that you want to beat them. You cannot beat them. They have page rank. You don't have page rank. Sure, page rank not the only ranking factor today. You can, you can argue till cars come home. My point is this: in SEO, never ever fight in a niche where the natural competition has page rank and you don't. So what we do? We work harder. We go and search for commercially valuable industries in our local market because local, common sense. If you cannot win local, how the hell are you going to win global? But guess what happens when you try to promote a ClickBank product and build an affiliate web page? Does it not occur to you that you're fighting globally, at least nationally, when you try to, try to optimize for weight loss diet plans and you realize why you're not on page one in Google? Well, guess what, buddy? You never had a chance. You can watch all the videos you want. You never stood a chance. But if you understand my concept of play to win and my concept of beating the competition, now to beat the competition, you must know who the competitors are. So you need now to have the skill of identifying your competitors and doing competitive assessment. Only when you find your competitors weak and crappy does it signal you the opportunity to go in with SEO. Because that's the real SEO science. People don't get it 15 years later, right? They are so focused on page speed. They are focused on load time, title tags. They miss the biggest aspect of SEO success: play to win and play in areas where you can beat the competition. If you understand this, my point is that half your battle is already won. Are you guys following me so far, my friends? Right? This is just about, let's talking about SEO, because I am going to talk about some, traffic omni-channel concepts tomorrow. We have to. We have no choice. Okay? So, yeah, know your competition. That's it, Brandon. Yeah? You decide, right? Whether you want to play second fiddle. It's up to you. If you're comfortable, stick to what you're doing. Then just treat everything I'm telling you as entertainment. No issues. I won't get offended. Not to worry here, right? But what if you really wanted to go ahead in life? And this is where I'm here to share with you the Underdog Method. Well, not today, tomorrow. Yeah, sorry to leave you in suspense. It's one of those thriller movies that I need to work with you on that. Now, I am going to impart with you today some necessary background entrepreneurial training to get you prepped for the Underdog Method approach tomorrow. So I am going to share with you more stuff. But at this point in time, I'm going to be happy to sort my slides and answer some questions that any of you may have. So feel free to ask questions. The question I heard earlier, or I read earlier, was, is this a beginner method? So let me be very honest with you. This is not a beginner method, because the Underdog Method only works when you can produce measurable revenue growth. So this is not a beginner's method, but this is a profitable long-term method, because in my Underdog philosophy and doctrine, you are building a business. You are earning equity, not just a fee. You're not charging just a fee. You are going in to an existing business, growing their revenues, and in return, your reward is equity and revenue or profit share. So my point is this: the stakes are high. You just need one of this business to get to your 5-figure in US dollars and even more. Okay. So again, I'm not stopping you from doing your ClickBanks or your dropshippings or whatever the case is, because for you to succeed over here, there's certain things that you need to be good at, which is what I'm going to, lay out with you very, very importantly. But again, just to be clear, this is not a beginner business model, because the only KPI here is revenue growth. But my point is this: if you strive to get to become a revenue growth marketer, play the role of CRO, literally the sky's the limit. And many of you have put in the sweat and tears and the time and effort, and I think that you're not far from it. If you're a beginner, you're welcome to attend my training, attend my Underdog Method webinar tomorrow. You are going to have to roll up your sleeves. So let me just be realistic to you. What time frame are we looking at to get you prepped and ready for the Underdog Method, regardless of experience or knowledge? Well, the answer would be 6 months, which is not an unreasonable amount of time to turn you into a winning, profitable digital entrepreneur. Hey, my friend, Simon Leung is back. A round of applause for him.
No, dude. A round of applause for you, man. So if you enjoy that session, definitely give Mr. Fabian Lim a huge round of virtual applause. If you think that you got any value from what he just shared with you in just the little time that he had, I've seen this guy talk for days and days and days at a time, and it's still not enough. He has so much to share. He has so much to continue to deliver in terms of value. It's just going to take me some time over here to really find some of those, because the comments just keep coming in there. I keep thinking, this one I need to highlight, and there's so much good stuff being told about you. But one thing that I want to piggyback off of what you just said before we do that is absolutely right. Okay, for Mr. Fabian, he's been teaching this for over a decade and a half. He's been teaching people it. By the way, if you are a newbie, if you are a beginner, if you're somebody who is just starting out, this may or may not be for you, as what Mr. Fabian mentioned, but still follow Fabian because he has plenty of other programs where I have seen him also, like me, change lives. It doesn't matter if you're 8 years old or 80 plus years old. I have seen Mr. Fabian, I've traveled with him to places like Vietnam where we were teaching and holding by the hands anybody who is quote unquote a newbie at that point in time. I mean, 8 years old, right? How much of an expert could you really be? And anyone who is 80 plus years old, we basically work with them. We call them aunties and uncles here in Southeast Asia. And for them, they're also not very technical. Okay, so if you do need that level of handholding, follow Fabian anyway, because he is an expert in also helping out newbies just in different programs. So with that said, though, the thing with Fabian's answer on, whether or not this is for newbie, I will say that to a certain extent, while you can say that it's not for a newbie, so to speak, a lot of it has to do with your own mentality. A lot of it has to do with your own psychology. The newbie as in absolutely nothing, or newbie as in the newbie mentality. Because I'll tell you, there are plenty of people who have studied internet marketing, they've studied wealth creation, they've studied entrepreneurship for 10 years plus, and they still consider to be newbie level, right? However, if you are just starting out, I also work with people who by textbook definition are newbies, as in it's their very first experience. They've been doing 9-to-5 jobs or working in the corporate world or doing other things for most of their lives. And this is the first time that they got exposed to any type of entrepreneurship, education, or opportunity. They were able to pick it up just like that. Right. So in reality, whether you are a newbie or not, it's not so much based on your experience. It's not so much based on your past education or whatever else. It has to do with your mentality. Are you somebody who wants to learn? Are you somebody who is an action taker? Are you somebody who is actually going to do something? And as Fabian said multiple times, commit it. Make that commitment to actually be able to strive towards your success. Right? Because when it comes to newbie, that takes you to a whole different level of definition of what newbie actually is. All of us who are starting out right now, and I told you the story about how I first got started 15, 16 years ago, I considered on a textbook definition to be a newbie. Right? I didn't have any experience. I was working a 9-to-5 job at Google for 5 years prior to that. And August 2006, my very first opportunity to be able to make money as an entrepreneur, just as an affiliate, yes, as a newbie by textbook definition, but not newbie mentally, right? On a mentality standpoint, because I decided to take action. I decided to dive into something I had never done before. Remember, my very first affiliate promotion as an affiliate, just in commissions alone, I made more money than I did in my salary, which paid pretty well, a 6-figure salary at Google. Okay, so that's not because I was thinking, okay, is this for newbie? This is not for me. It's not something I can do. No, you jump into it knowing very well, full well, that you are just starting out, but by definition of newbie to you, just think outside of that, right? You're no longer a newbie because you have learned to think beyond that already. You are now ready to take action. And even though, granted, you may be an underdog, right? That's the whole thing about this method. Because if you happen to be an underdog, that means that somebody else has the advantage, whether it's from experience, whether it's from years of doing business, whether it's, they've been in business long or whatever else, right? The point is, if you can actually be here present and make this the first day of the rest of your life, and you say, I now make the commitment to use this underdog method because it suits me. I am an underdog right now at this point in time. Other people have the advantage over me, but still by leveraging on what Fabian shares with you, regardless of whether you have past experience or not, I believe that it can still work for you. Sure, right? As Fabian said, maybe it'll take you some time. For some, it might take 6 months. For some, it might take 1 month. For some, it might take a year, okay? 100%. It also depends on you and your effort. And this is also what's going to differentiate. We talked about fake gurus earlier, right? This differentiates Fabian from everyone else. Number one, because he's been there, he's done that, he's actually got the experience, he's actually been able to create success stories, but he's also very honest, right? If he just wants to say, yep, it works for everybody, what's stopping him from actually saying that, right? But this is what the fake gurus say. Yes, it'll work for you regardless of your experience, regardless of your mindset, regardless of your attitude. Just come in, pay me money, blah, 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 and you will be able to succeed. Fabian's not selling you a single thing. And yet, he's being honest with you, right? It takes work. The reason why he says it's not for a newbie is because it takes work, right? It takes commitment. For somebody with a newbie mindset, with newbie attitude, who's not going to do anything like a newbie, right? It's not going to work for you. Nothing's going to work for you, right? Groove isn't going to work for you. This free community will mean absolutely nothing. It'll be a great waste of your time and ours because you decide not to do anything with it, right? And so just like with everything else, yes, it requires you to put in effort, take in time, learn, apply, execute, implement. These are all steps of anything and anyone who wants to be successful, right? And one thing, Fabian, that we would know that we are doing a good job just, getting the very best people like yourself on board is, even though I've been sitting in the back for over an hour doing nothing, listening to you, maybe, hey, highlight all these different people, and you're doing most of the delivery of value, people are going to thank me, right? They're going to thank me because I brought you on. So in reality, of course, Vero is saying, hi, Simon, thank you for the amazing content that you bring to us. This is true gold. Yes, it absolutely is. But that's why the next message from Vero is more relevant, because now she's actually saying thank you to you, Mr. Fabian, for the amazing information that you're sharing with us. Can't wait to hear all about it tomorrow. And of course, we also have many, many more that I cannot possibly highlight all of them, but just so that you all know, right? And you as well, Fabian, the content, as you are very well aware, is amazing business advice for entrepreneurs, business people who are experienced and non-experienced, in my opinion. And of course, also because you've been doing this for so long, you know that it actually does help people. And really one of the biggest differences, and my hat's off to you, Mr. Fabian, for being such a giver. We also have G. Brandon, Crawfordson affiliate marketing in addition to your primary business model. Yes, absolutely. And being an underdog or a partner, and using this business model, it's all about multiple streams of income anyhow, right? You're not just going to be that one person who's going to work with one partner and just, see and try your luck, right? If you're an entrepreneur, you're going to go out there and you're going to continue to find more partners to work with, and you're going to continue to work with more people. And this really is the beauty of the entire system, which just from the little bits that I heard so far, I know that this is absolutely one of the best programs that Mr. Fabian has actually put together. And then
let me interrupt you for, because you did mention something really important and I didn't stress this. Thank you for highlighting. For the Underdog Method, we're not talking about you just working with a single business. In fact, tomorrow I'm going to show you laid out where I'm partnering, and all of them I have equity share, by the way, with 3 different businesses in 3 different industries. And what's motivating in this business model, even for myself, is that I get to build legitimate business profit. I have a stake in the business, and I'm also building multiple streams of income. From a long-term potential, at least from my perspective and my case studies, well, I mean, for sure, these are all very new businesses. Remember, it's basically COVID, pretty much after March last year that I ventured onto the underdog model. We are talking about profiting net profit, right? Of, well, without having to toot my own horn, definitely I'm targeting that $1 million across these three companies. So, you have to take all these things into perspective. And I think Simon really said it clearly. If you keep having a beginner mindset where you want to cut corners, take it easy, not have any real measurable, valuable skills to offer mankind, then to be honest with you, digital marketing will give you the perfect facade to make people impress upon you, but it's not going to change your financial trajectory, to be honest with you. And that's a problem. A lot of people come into this industry, they don't want to put in the sweat, they don't want to put in the right learning, they don't want to invest in themselves. They just want to soak in the environment. Well, no one's going to stop you from doing that. I'm just telling you, having seen people come and go by the thousands, just not just myself, even with Simon, in Singapore, in Malaysia, Philippines, Vietnam, 90% don't make it, not because they don't have the capability, but because they have the rest and relax mindset when it comes to the online world. Let me start by telling you this. There is no difference between the online world and the offline world when it comes to commitment, time, and money. We have a lot of advantages being digital entrepreneurs. We have a lot of amazing methods that allow us to do acquisition with a laptop, with an iPad today even. But make no mistakes, a business is a business. And if you don't have that business acumen, you're never going to become a millionaire. If you do, even $1 million won't elude you and can't stop you. I also want to comment about Daniel Amadi's statement that action equals results. You know what? I need you to be careful with that statement. Generally, that is true. Action equals results. But the problem with this industry is that many of you are unknowingly and unconsciously taking the wrong actions, but you're expecting the right results. Isn't it true? All of you want to make money, but if I'm going to do a survey, how many of you have made how many of you are making 5 figures a month? Maybe 5% of you. What happened to that 95% of you? Aren't you guys working hard? Aren't you attending webinars? Aren't you attending training? Haven't you bought courses? Why are you not producing the results? And unfortunately, then by reasoning and logic, action may not generate results. So I want you to all understand this. Effort does not equal results, right? It's taking the right action at the right time. Then that is a more precise definition. Taking the right actions at the right time equals positive results. So don't fool yourself to thinking just because you're watching some YouTube video on Facebook ads means that you're going to succeed. That's not how it works, right? Talking about that, I have people who tell me that they know Facebook ads, and my answer is always going to be sarcastic. Yeah, so does my grandma. We're not asking you whether you know Facebook ads. Are you profiting from Facebook ads? Can you optimize your Facebook ads from unprofitable to profitable? Can you scale? Because if you can't do these things, so what even if you think you know Facebook ads, right? Which is what I'm trying to say. Let's stop beating around the bush. Let's get to the brass tacks. Show me revenue growth. When you can show me revenue growth, I don't care how you grew that revenues, as long as you did it legitimately, of course, right? Don't break any rules. That's why I'm telling all of you right now, it's time to align. If you want to achieve unlimited success, align with a far more difficult KPI called revenue growth. The gurus understand this. They understand if they don't succeed financially, they're going to starve. Unfortunately, as Simon says as well. Why do I keep saying Simon says? Sounds familiar. Okay. As Simon said, not all gurus are honest, because they will tell you they have a family to feed, but does it mean just because you have a family to feed, you need to fool beginners into parting with thousands of dollars for your own family benefit? How does it work? It's a win-lose proposition. I want you to understand the only potential long-term success you can ever have where you become financially successful is the other party also becomes financially successful. My friends, it has to be win-win, right? Nothing else matters. It has to be win-win, whether it's supplier, customer, partner, whatever the case is. When I work with Simon, we don't calculate percentages and commissions. We make sure it's win-win. That's how we've been able to, survive all these 15 years through ups and through downs, right? So my question is this: are you creating a win-win environment? Are you creating a win-win partnership? Are you creating a win-win marketer-supplier relationship? And again, let's be very clear over here. When we say win, we mean everybody's going to make more money. Okay, keep focusing on that S11, and I think that's the first step in itself.
Yes, absolutely. I think Eleanor Roosevelt said it best when she says something like, it just lost me because I'm like listening to myself and I can hear my own feedback. Something like, well, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, right? So that's actually very similar to what you just mentioned. What you just mentioned in terms of taking the right action, right? Because if you take the wrong action and you continue on with moving along the same path of moving into the wrong direction, then you cannot expect any more positive results. So it's very important for us to understand what to do and how to do it, learn from the right people, because as Nicholas also says, in a time of universal deceit where gurus don't tell you the full story, and I'll add to that, right, what Fabian also alluded to earlier, the fake gurus, right, telling the truth like it is. This is, of course, Fabian Lim. He is a class act, a revolutionary act. He, of course, will tell you like it is, just like he's done for me, to me, and with me all these years. That is why, on this one hand, where I can have everybody that I have called and are calling a bro or brother, Mr. Fabian is one of these fingers right here. He might even be the thumb. I don't know. But just to let you know, all of you here as well, there's a lot of applauses, a lot of thank yous. Joe is saying thank you. Looking forward to tomorrow. Johnson, I believe, is sharing with us a couple of either images or GIFs, which we cannot see on StreamYard, unfortunately. So later on, maybe we'll go back into Facebook and see exactly what they are. JJ and Vero is also giving you some hand claps. And then Daniel is also saying applause. Syed is giving you another applause. Vero is saying thank you very much for the explanation. You are very welcome. And so many more. We do have another question from Mr. Rob, Trader Rob, saying, how do I become a name as an infrastructure consultant? I'm not sure how, if you want Mr. Fabian to relate this to the Underdog Method, but if there's a way that you think we can help Mr. Rob to answer this question. Apparently he wants to be a consultant of sorts. What is your recommendation for somebody who is new, relatively new, but not necessarily a newbie mindset, somebody who is past that, right? They're now thinking of ways that they can grow, maybe be an agency using one of your methods, maybe as an underdog while having a disadvantage right now. What are some ways that you can suggest to Rob his first or next steps to making a name for himself?
Sure. I've come across this question very often, and my answer to all of you is this. And this goes back to the days when, I was a wedding videographer in Singapore, because I used to be a management consultant, and I decided not to become an employee ever again. And that was in 2001. So I kind of depended on my, skill sets. And just like every new wedding videographer or photographer, and we're all in the same boat, by the way, what I realized was the key to success in terms of getting more clients and increasing the value of your services. And I think it can be applied here as well. And the answer would be this, right? The size of your paycheck is in proportion to the strength of your portfolio. Let me say this again. The size of your paycheck is going to be in proportion to the strength of your portfolio. When I say portfolio, I mean what are the things that you can show people that you have accomplished. Because without that portfolio, imagine a photographer. How do you decide how much it's worth? Is it based on how many years of experience he has? Does it even matter? Or is it because you like his past work? His past work is known as portfolio, right? So my point to all of you is this, and it doesn't matter whether you're just building websites. If you're building websites and you want to be top of your industry, build the best goddamn websites that you can build and offer it at the best prices that you can. See, the problem again with many of us as digital entrepreneurs is that we tend to get too drawn out again with our passion. So maybe some of you here like building websites and landing pages, and you get so excited and you build your expertise around building websites. And then you complain, why are you not getting that paycheck you deserve? Well, you're confusing again, right? Effort and reward. So it could be your passion to build websites, Groove pages, of course. But the point is this, at the end of the day, the size of your paycheck has to be proportional with the value you create. And let's be very clear again, right? Value means financial value. That's the best correlation you can ever have. So for a wedding photographer, he charges based on the strength of his portfolio, because that's the result that a new wedding couple is expecting, isn't it? They are expecting similar photos of them to the portfolio. So now you just have to take the same analogy and metaphor to business. How do you decide how much to charge? Well, if you're a digital agency, the worst thing you can do, which is what the whole world is doing, my friends, unfortunately, is charging percentage of ad spend. Does it sound familiar? Simon used to run agency as well, okay? But that was, 10 years ago. That is how the industry charges. It's an industry norm. But think about this. It does not make sense. Why do I get compensated on how much you spend? Shouldn't I be compensated on how much you make? I don't understand this. This is something I never understood. Why the industry is so accepting on rewarding a digital agency based on percentage of ad spend. Where is the motivation to generate results? There is motivation to spend more so I can make more, but there's no correlation between that and revenues. And if maybe there was an internal contract, I guess, that, they're discussing, but I don't think so, because 95% of digital agencies crap out in terms of results. So I'm just saying, right, let's not beat around the bush, right? Focus on revenue growth. Align everything to revenue growth. Align your compensation to revenue growth. In the same way, what do business owners expect in collaborating with you? Let me ask you this, right? What are they expecting? They're expecting more likes, more shares. And then what you do with the likes and shares, go to the bank and say, hey, you know what? This post at 5,000 shares, Simon, pay me. Can I withdraw $5,000 from the bank? Right? Ridiculous. So all I'm trying to say is this. Our industry is no different from any other industry out there, really. Okay, you can focus on the vanity matrix in life, engagement, reach, impressions, or money in the bank. Okay, And here's a point as well for all of you here. Don't just pick KPIs to suit your fledgling standards, because maybe you're not a revenue guy, maybe you're not a performance guy. Of course, you would love, isn't it, to charge percentage of ad spend, but isn't that being convenient? And I'm telling you, it's nothing wrong with doing that. The whole world does that. Come on, I cannot criticize you, but deep down, I'm going to tell you this, right? If you adopt this approach, 10 years later, your financial success is hardly going to improve, because you're at the lower end of the value chain, and you will get paid still, because there's always going to be people who want to pay you in that manner. But as long as you keep accepting, this kind of approach of being compensated, it's going to be a disconnect to you wanting to become a millionaire. And I'm going to tell right now, all of you here can become a millionaire. The Underdog Method, if it's not one business, it could be 4 businesses, 5 businesses. I think, each of us can handle 5 different businesses, and it's not going to be difficult to get to $1 million, but you need to just learn how to create real value. Let me just continue with Trader Rob here, right? How do I best differentiate my blue collar brands and white collar brands of a similar product? Like is it print on demand? Print on demand has high quality shirts and cheap shirts. Well, differentiation, first thing is going to be perceived, especially for such a product. If not, branded companies won't get away selling $400 t-shirts that suckers like us buy for some stupid reason. The same t-shirt could be $5 on a China website. It could be even $1. Okay, slightly better material is $400. What explains this huge price differential? Well, it's portfolio again, right? A branded company like Louis Vuitton, for example, Givenchy and all these guys, they have built a portfolio. A lot of times through very, very tough terrain in terms of, their Paris shows and building up the brand and having models and winning awards. I mean, we don't see all these pain, sweat, and tears. And then when they start pricing a ridiculous black t-shirt for $400, we criticize them. But my point is this: if there's a seller, there's usually a buyer. Okay. And yes, the guy who paid $400 is probably a sucker, but he's a willing sucker. Hey, don't judge, right? Don't judge. It may not be for you, but you will find willing suckers to spend $400 on a t-shirt. So that's my answer to you when it comes to white and blue. It is not, again, without having a common KPI, a financial KPI like revenue growth, is quite easy to fool naive business owners into accepting, right, non-revenue KPIs, vanity KPIs, and go out there and make a living. If you want to make $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month, hey, forget about everything I'm going to tell you, because it's just too much effort. Okay, but my point is this, right? I believe that the fact that you even bothered to be here to attend Simon's show with me as a guest tells me that you are better than the average person out there. I mean, you're a Groovester, okay? Maybe you're a free account, but I know many of you already invested in Groove. You have faith in Fusame. I think that you have the qualities. And so why aim at the lower end of the yardstick, 1, 2, 3 grand a month, when you can aim 10, 11, 12, 13 grand a month? Not a millionaire, but hey, you're not in Singapore, are you? Where our homes here cost $3 million, for example. Our cars cost $500,000. Hey, different strokes for different folks. So that's my perspective.
Yeah, different folks for different strokes for different folks. Absolutely, because I always remember every time, like, we're hanging out in Singapore or in Malaysia. We got nothing better to do because we're just hanging out all day, right? Lifestyle of an internet entrepreneur. We go to the malls and we go do our own shoppings and stuff. And I always go and I find the best deals. I don't know how many of you are familiar with a shop like FOS. Okay, if you think that H&M is cheap, affordable, right? FOS is like a fraction of that. So I go there, I see a lot of really great deals. It was like 3 t-shirts for 49 ringgit. And so if you want to do the math, it's about 4 times. So it's about 12.50 or so USD per t-shirt. And I was like, oh, wow, so cool. What a nice deal, right? I see Fabian and he's like, eh. And then he, of course, walks into the Armani store, right? He buys like the $500 t-shirts that he was just talking about. So yes, it's all about, and this just goes to show, the kind of wealth that we're talking about for Mr. Fabian, the type of success that he's able to not only generate for himself, but to other people as well. And so with all of that, right, it's just a matter of, if you want to get there, how you want to get there. Right, your mindset, right? Your because he's like, it's not because he likes the brand, it's not because he has too much money that he doesn't know where to spend it on. I mean, he just told you, right? His cars. I mean, what do you drive? Like a 5 Series BMW, right?
With an old 7.
Oh, it was a 7 Series. Yes, that's right. And if you think that cars are typically like a 7 Series BMW is expensive, like in the US or in the UK or Australia, in Singapore, as what Fabian just mentioned, it's like 3 or 4 times even more expensive. And that's just the car itself. The COE, which is the certification of
entitlement.
Of entitlement, right? You need that piece of paper just to drive, right? Just to have the right to drive, just to be able to qualify you to go out and get a license.
Yeah.
Yeah, how much?
$40,000.
$40,000, and that's just like for 10 years. I mean, yeah, and of course, on top of that, he flies his own plane and all those things. So it's all about the mindset, right? It's all about if you just want to do this to make ends meet, to survive during the pandemic, to do this temporarily until everything blows over, or do you truly want to build true wealth, right? Real wealth, and you want to live a certain type of lifestyle. You want to, again, not just because he has money to blow, but because it's all part of his package, right? It's all a part of his persona. It's his brand. When he goes and he travels to the world stages, he can't go like me and wear like a $10 shirt. He needs to actually show some type of
well, that's because you're better looking. So what I'm saying.
None of that, right? Don't be silly. So with all of that, right? It makes him, not just with the perception, it makes him feel better about himself. It makes people respect him more. It's like what Joel Bauer says in terms of your package, you gotta wear suits and everything, right? But of course, we don't do that because we also are the lifestyle guys, right? And so we're not gonna walk around in ties and suits all around the world. But with all of that, yes, it all has to do with your overall mentality, right? Forget about what other people think of you. Forget about what type of perception you're trying to portray, right? Live as if this is your goal of what you want in your life. Do what makes you happy, not just to survive, but to shoot after the goals that you want to achieve, right? You are here. You are a part of Groove. You've been listening to us for the last 2 hours or so. You are a part of the Groovement. You are learning from all these different trainings and expert step-by-step. You've come this far. But I know that you didn't come this far just to come this far, right? You want to continue on and learn even more, become even better, learn from the best of the best. Now, I know that every single day of the week, we have brand new people who are joining us through the variety of our community. So many of you probably right now watching cannot tell me apart from a bar of soap. You have no idea who I am. You have no idea what this show is all about. You're asking yourself, why are you here? But then there will be some of you who will do that research. Some of you who have been here for a while. Some of you who have known me and followed me like Nicholas for the past 10 plus years, right? You know what I stand for. And ask yourself, how many times do I personally endorse somebody that I can say not only I learned from, have impacted my life for the better, and also have been there for me, was there for me in multiple downtimes of my life, right? Again, on one hand, I can name less than 5 people that I call a brother, and Fabian is the only one whom I call a brother who actually was there for me, not just on a personal level, but on a business level as well. So if you know that I endorse this guy, right, then of course he is somebody that you should get to know, you should get to like, and you should get to trust because I put my trust in him. There's not very many people that I can continue to say, not only continue on in my brotherhood, but also friendship and partnership all at the same time, somebody like Mr. Fabian. Okay. And for me to have continued to be friends with him, like without pretty much losing touch, maybe here once in a while because we're busy doing things, but every, few months, we would always get back in touch. There is not one other person that I can think of in this business, in this industry, in this community that I have continued to be in contact with, continue to build relationships with, and continue to change lives together with around the world stages for 15, 16 years straight. And Mr. Fabian Lim is the only guy that I can say that we have done this together. We've gone ups, we've gone downs, we've went through middles of nowhere and everywhere all at the same time. But I can tell you, if this is a man that I say you should trust because I do, that you can believe in because I do, that you should learn from because I have ever since I was not just mentally, but literally a newbie, then I know because I've seen him carry other people, hold them by the hand, take them all the way to the top, just like how he has done for me. I know that he can continue to do the same thing for you as well. And you might have different goals. Maybe you don't need to be a pilot. Maybe you don't need to buy $500,000 worth of cars, right? Maybe you don't need to live in Singapore and pay $40,000 USD every single year just for the right to drive or live the lifestyle that Mr. Fabian does. But how nice would it be to know that you can do that anytime that you want to, right? And so that is the privilege of being here in the community. That's the privilege of being here on the show. And that's the privilege, if you take a look at the ticker right below you, right, of continuing to learn from Mr. Fabian as he continues to share with us his Underdog Method. It's going to be happening on Friday, this coming Friday. If you're watching us live, if you're watching us on the replay, hopefully it's not too long after the live session because the replay is only going to be up for a limited time. But if you're watching us live, if you're watching us before the webinar actually happens, the next Groove Digital Presents is going to be happening this coming Friday at 2 p.m. EST. If unfortunately you are in our various local communities, like me, for example, I'm in Malaysia. Mr. Fabian is in Singapore. We have many friends who are in Australia, who are in Indonesia, and many Southeast Asian countries. Okay, unfortunately, it's going to be around 2 a.m. for us. If you're where Mr. Nicholas is, it's going to be 4 a.m. But regardless, as they say, if you want it, you will find a way. If you don't, you'll find an excuse. For me, I make no excuses. I'm going to be there. And I recommend that you do the same thing. But again, go to the link that you see on the ticker, grooveover.to/GD presents Fabian Lim. I know that it is a mouthful. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to type this into the actual comments as well, so that if you happen to see this, you should be able to click on it without having to, try to type it all in, but it's going to show up right there if you happen to be on Facebook or YouTube or Twitch or anywhere else. Okay, grooveover.to/GD presents Fabian Lim. Go ahead and do that, and you will be able to register for the next event. Even if you cannot make it live, register anyway so that we can send you the replay. And believe you me, you're going to want to catch that replay as well. All right, so with that, Are there any parting words, or do you have any other questions, Mr. Fabian, that you see that you want to answer? Anyone else that you want to address?
Well, Simon, I've been so inspired, really, with everything that you have been, doing to lead the community, and I appreciate the people who came on board today as well to listen to me, because if not, I'll be talking to myself. You know what? I want to reward the live audience today who came by closing with a few slides, a few tips, which is really my fundamental information regarding business success. So if you allow me to continue adding value to you guys over here, because you really took the time to come for this session, I want to reward positive actions. So with that, let me move on. I just want to, end with a few tips for you guys. These next couple of slides are basically my summary of the digital entrepreneur's mindset and some formula and equations that you need to hold dearly as you move forward in this amazing landscape. And the first thing I want to share with you here is I need you to relook at how we evaluate business and business potential. I'm going to be covering more of these tomorrow, of course, but I just want to give you some things to notes to take down in case I don't see you tomorrow. And this is considered pre-work. So the first thing I want you to understand is that you need to start seeing business and business opportunity not in your traditional accounting approach, like costs and profits and revenues. I need to start looking at things from two equations. On the left side, it's known as CAC, customer acquisition costs, and on the right side, LTV, lifetime value, and specifically lifetime value profit. Now, this is not an equation created by myself. It's used in every single startup, and I so happen to have founded a startup in Singapore in 2015, known as Page Advisor. And I can assure you that every VC venture capitalist that evaluates the potential of a startup, and of course, you guys have tons of startups in Malaysia, in the US, of course, as well, from the Teslas of the world to the Ubers and everything else. The VCs look at it from this perspective, and I think it's something we can learn from them. So what is this all about? It's changing the mindset to, again, that of performance and growth. There is a lot of deep implications in this very simple equation. Let's start with the CAC side. So the CAC basically denotes that you attribute costs not based on necessarily leads. I know a lot of you guys who run Facebook ads, and you see a metric cost per lead or cost per result, and you decide, isn't it, which is the better performing ad set based on lowest cost per lead. But that is a mistake, because cost per lead is not equal to cost of acquisition. And lower cost per lead doesn't mean it's going to be more profitable. Lower cost per lead could also be lower quality leads. So we need to have metrics which are useful and measurable and can impact decision making. So we now need to put on the cap, similar to the VC. And my point is this: all it matters is how much does it cost this business to acquire a new customer. Now, I'm not going to go into the mechanics of how we calculate customer acquisition cost, but needless to say, it's not just about lead costs, because not all leads turn to customers. Now, it's far easier, obviously, to do this calculation if you're running an e-commerce business, because the costs are all fairly known itself. If you're running a traditional business where you have an offline call center, to convert the customer, well, you need to add the call center cost in as well, because part of the role of the call center is to acquire customer. But bottom line is this: you need to know before you invest in a business. And to be honest with you, the Underdog Method is about investing in a business. It doesn't matter that you can see things and you're evaluating things in a perspective that even the business owner is not even looking at. What matters is you and how to best invest your time for the best financial outcome, right? When we say we want to do less and make more, so there has to be some grounds and foundation for that to happen. So my point is simple. It doesn't matter how much we spend to acquire customer, because I know many of you are petrified to be spending in excess of $10 per lead, for example, to run lead generation campaigns. My point is this: don't look at cost as cost. You have to balance the equation. So on the right-hand side, you have lifetime value, profit. Now, tomorrow when we get into Underdog Method, I have 3 live case studies why I chose these 3 underdog businesses, and all of them has to do, hint, with lifetime value. Lifetime value, for you to achieve lifetime value, you must have, well, more than one product to offer to your customers, or you offer the same product multiple times to the same customers. You understand right now why I'm not a fan of, ClickBank products itself, if it means I get paid one time only. It does not mean, by the way, that it has to be recurring income. As I said, it doesn't have to be subscription. But my point is that when you spend one time to acquire a customer and he continues to purchase from you because of necessity or value, that's the kind of business you want to get into. So this is the first equation that I want to share with you. When you are able to build lifetime value, customer acquisition cost doesn't matter so much. What I'm trying to say is this, right? I can spend $100. I can afford to spend $100 on customer acquisition if my profit from the average lifetime customer, let's say 12 months, is $150. The gurus know these things. They don't always talk about these things, but they know these things. They know these things really well. And here's my point to all of you, especially the newbie out there, right? You see, here's how it works. If I can afford to spend $100 because I know my math and you don't, and you keep killing campaigns when your cost exceeds $20, for example, you are going to run out of audience to offer your products and services because you keep killing any campaign that exceeds $20. Whereas I keep running my campaigns, even though I'm spending $100, because I know I can recover $150. In other words, I make a net profit of $50 per customer, and I can scale to the moon, and you won't, because you're cost based. Whereas for me, I'm lifetime value based. And that's why this equation is so important. And that's the reason why investors use this as the fundamental equation for startups to determine whether a startup is investable and scalable. Next, I also need to orientate you to a basic customer journey concept. And I have 3 alphabets for you. A, attract, and this means to identify, target, and attract qualified prospects. So this is an activity you need to be good at first and foremost. This is really traffic acquisition. Those of you who are weak in acquisition will find digital marketing generally very, very, very painful. Those of you who master traffic acquisition will become ninjas. You become fearless because you have so many channels to bring in customers, to attract the customers. But we're not done. You now need to also master the C, which is convert. Convert is a little bit trickier because it's not about your sales copy that what a lot of people think. I mean, you can write a good sales copy. The problem is this, my friends. You can have good copywriting. And that's what happens in this guru industry, isn't it? The problem with strong copywriting and great direct response copywriters is that they generally do such a good job, they also create a false expectation. Ha, you didn't think about that when you hired that award-winning copywriter, because the award-winning copywriter makes your product or service or business sound like $1 million, like a sure win. You have to balance what you are out there representing versus the reality of the actual delivery of the product. And if the gap is too wide, you end up with negative customer experience. Have you ever thought about that? Okay, so if you inflate your benefits and the actual deliverable falls short, you are now going to have a huge problem on the final alphabet, and that is retention. Without retention, you have no lifetime value. Without lifetime value, the equation I just showed you earlier is not going to work. Your business will sink. So what I'm trying to say is this. From a holistic perspective, we need to understand and employ the strategies and tactics to attract the right audience with the right offer at the right time. I hope you have written that down. Let me say this again, right? Attract the right audience with the right offer at the right time. Then the next job, obviously, is to convert them through persuasion, through a whole slew of strategies. The most important being retargeting. I hope you understand what retargeting is. Retargeting is so important because our typical prospect is flooded with messaging. Don't believe me? Scroll Facebook newsfeed and tell me how many ads you see. So the attention span is going to be very, very little, and therefore you need top of mind positioning. You need to understand how to employ retargeting with the right digital assets to continue to attract the attention. Of course, you need a strong offer, needless to say, at the right price, at the right quality, with the right benefits to convert them into a customer, right? But a lot of marketers stop there. A lot of businesses stop there. They focus so much on the first sale, they lose sight of the most important segment that affects your financial success, and that is retention. I'm sure you have heard, right? It's so much easier to get a happy customer to buy from you. It's 3 times easier to get a happy customer to buy from you again than to nurture a cold customer. It's so much more expensive to go through this whole process itself. So the magic of successful businesses, and this is not just about internet businesses, this is any business, is retention. And you cannot achieve phenomenal retention if you don't attract the right people, convert them with a great offer, and deliver and exceed expectations. And retention will take care on, in and of itself. Finally, I just want to orientate you with what you have traditionally been seeing, and sometimes the visual aspect psychologically induces us to execute the wrong strategy. I'm sure you've seen this funnel where it's wide on top at the start and it narrows down, right? Awareness, interest, consideration, conversion. So 1,000 people see your ads, 100 people click through, 30 have an interest, 10 have consideration, and 5 convert. End of story. Well, to be honest, this model today if executed in real life, will mean the end of the business, because nothing over here suggests that you need to focus on retention. It stops at conversion, and that's a problem with traditional funnels that don't go beyond conversion. Allow me to alter your thinking in traditional funnels. This is what you should be looking at. The new marketing paradigm. Get customers, grow customers. Notice that in this case, the funnel thins down, obviously, from awareness, interest, consideration, conversion, but it also now amplifies post purchase. Why? Because you understand customer experience, you know how to delight them, you know how to use email marketing and marketing automation to continue engage them. You are going to know who has not been engaging with you. If it's an e-commerce website, for example, you just don't leave customers who hasn't purchased with you in 120 days. You want to engage them with a coupon code. Hey, we miss you. Please come back. Please come back offer, right? Customer win back offer. So all these little things, and this picture makes you understand that getting your customer is just the initial step of the business success. The real mark of a successful business is growing customers. There's a name for this. It's called turning customers into advocates, raving fans. And when you can do that, your business will grow. And when your business grows, your business value increases, your financial success gets amplified. So this is what I wanted to share with you. I'm done with my sharing. I just want to give you some foundation, because these are all universal principles that I just need you to reorientate as you listen to my presentation tomorrow in the Underdog Method. Everything that I'm telling you today and all these few slides are integral to the success of the Underdog Method approach. I'm done. Thank you for your time, Simon.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing. So talk about over delivery, right? Just like in The Godfather, when you think that you're done, he pulls you back in with even more over delivery of some additional content. So thank you very much, Mr. Fabian, for all this stuff. And yet again, of course, if you are here and you are a subscriber of our channel, you are a part of our community, then you are at the right place and at the right time, because nowhere else are you going to get this prerequisite of what I would consider are, hundreds of people probably are going to join us at the webinar, and thousands more who will watch the replay. They're not going to get what you got. So a huge congratulations to all of you who have the opportunity to join us, especially those of you who join us live. But if it's the middle of the night for you, or the timing wasn't right and the notifications didn't come on, then it's okay. Hopefully you still had the opportunity to catch this replay before you watch that webinar, because this is all amazing, amazing content that we have just dropped on you. Okay, so JJJ is saying thank you, Mr. Lim. See you tomorrow. I guess that just about sums it up. Everybody wants to thank you, and everybody wants to see you tomorrow. I know I certainly do. Abdul is saying I also buy in FOS. I guess we can be shopping buddies one day. Shaquille is saying new here and new to digital marketing. Well, you are at the right place and at the right time, because this is exactly where you want to be. If you check out the link, Shaquille and anybody else who might be joining us at the ticker below this video, make sure you go to grooveover.to/GD presents Fabian Lim. Make sure that you register for the actual webinar, because Mr. Fabian is going to share with you even more about the Underdog Method that you're not going to want to miss out on. And as I mentioned, we of course know that we are a global community. People will be joining us from all around the world at different times of the day. Nicholas is in Brisbane in Australia, which is going to be 4 a.m. for him. And he's going to say, I'll find a way to be on. That is the sign of a true champion, right? He says, kids, sleep, work. Nothing will hold me back from attending. Hashtag Fabian Lim. And of course, that just goes to show the same thing for everybody. As Daniel was also saying, thank you, Fabian, for this amazing insight. Johnson is saying thank you, Fabian, for awesome sharing. Trader Rob is asking if you're going to be joining the Marketers Cruise, which is happening in November of this year. Unfortunately for me, I can speak for myself. We're probably going to continue to be on lockdown, so I have no faith that I will be able to leave the country. In fact, we just in the last couple of days went back into quote unquote total lockdown. We're in full lockdown, so for me, it looks like not a good sign, at least until 2022, seeing what's up. But for Mr. Fabian, you're in Singapore. I understand that things are a little bit more relaxed there. So hopefully we'll still have the opportunity to join at some point or other. But we've been talking about an Asia cruise, like a GrooveAsia cruise for the longest time. So maybe, just maybe, Trader Rob, you are invited to join us on the Asian version. Okay, Nicholas is saying time to TikTok, hashtag Fabian Lim, hashtag event. And we're going to end with one last one that we have here from Vero. She's saying, Mr. Fabian, I want to thank you for your honesty, as all of us do, simply because, with so much misinformation that is out there, so many people who obviously do not care about their people, their students, their community. They just want to, spread the bad information. They just are in it for their best own self-interest. And here you are, for absolutely free, just out of the kindness of your heart. If we remember back in the Groovathon, right, back in October, you were one of the few people who not only said, yes, I'll come here, I'll do it, but you did it for 2-hour sessions and you did it 3 times, right? Many people that I talked to, they didn't even want to come in once, not even for an hour, because they were saying, oh yeah, well, you know what? I cannot sell anything. I don't make any money from it. I'm just going to be, sharing content. Who does that? Apparently not people like them, right? But Fabian is obviously somebody who's very different. He is a whole nother animal. If you think, all the gurus, quote unquote gurus, are the same, every single one of them are all after it themselves and everything else, you really need to identify the small number of people in a very similar way as how I would consider brothers. I can count them all in one hand. Same thing with what I consider to be the true gurus, who honestly care about their people, who know what they're talking about, have the proven record for themselves, and have the proven record to be able to create millionaires all on their own with little to nothing in expectation in return, other than maybe a testimonial, other than maybe a thank you, other than maybe when we have the opportunity to meet up, right? And meet in person, and you say, yes, I don't need anything from you, but I would love to see you. I would love to meet you in person. I would love to hear your stories about how this impacted you and your family. This guy is the real deal, a real gentleman who absolutely cares about not only those around him, but anybody that considers him to be a mentor, a friend, just like me. So very, very glad to be able to be in that position, and my absolute pleasure to be able to bring Mr. Fabian to this community so that you can actually learn from him in the exact same way and get your life changed and improve the exact same way as well. The second part of Vero's question, how can we follow you? Which is a great way to end this, because I'm sure everybody also wants to follow you. They want to connect with you, learn more from you, not only, of course, by registering for the webinar tomorrow at the time of this live recording, grooveover.to/GD presents Fabian Lim, but how else, if they somehow missed it, won't be able to join, or if they watch this replay of this session a month, 2 months, 6 months too late, how, Mr. Fabian, can our friends and our community members get in touch with you, connect with you, follow you on social media?
Well, I think the easiest way, since all of you are also Groove members in Facebook, well, use Facebook to connect with me, facebook.com/Fabian Lim, and click follow, and then you'll be following me. Of course, follow Simon Leung as well. We're going to have some amazing initiatives primarily for the Asian market, but again, this is an international world. We won't stop you from following us.
Absolutely right. But of course, for those of you who are joining us just in time, still have the opportunity to do so. Make sure that you don't miss out on the chance to hear from Mr. Fabian Lim once again when he goes full blown, all out, slides on deck. 2 hours of nothing but amazing continued content for you to follow. grooveover.to/GD presents Fabian Lim. Make sure that you register. And for those of you who are on live with us or join us not too late or too soon after the actual live recording, make sure that you do watch the replay because you are absolutely gonna get your mind blown just like how I have been time and time again. All right, so with that, we are approaching 2 hours and 20 minutes already, even just out of volunteering your time and out of the kindness of your heart. You still continue to never cease to amaze us with your over delivery time and time again. So on behalf of all of our Groove community team members, we want to thank you, Mr. Fabian Lim. And if you want to learn more from Fabian, not just after tomorrow, but also maybe even after that as well, the good news is Mr. Fabian is going to be one of our very special VIP speakers at the GrooveAsia launch event, which is happening next weekend as well. If you want to learn more about that, go to grooveasia.cm. Once again, go to grooveasia.cm. You will have yet another opportunity to learn more from Mr. Fabian Lim again. All right, so with that, on behalf of the entire Groove community and myself, I want to thank you, Mr. Fabian, for joining us here today. I look forward to sharing more with you, about you, of you, to our fellow Groove community members and beyond, simply because there's so much continued value that you will continue to share with us. I know that for a fact, and I personally cannot wait to see your webinar tomorrow because I just know how you like to change lives. And of course, the value that you bring to us over and over and over again. All right, so with that, we all want to thank you as well as part of our community. We want to invite you to, if you haven't already, to take action right now by going to grooveover.to/GD presents Fabian Lim to learn more with Mr. Fabian. He is going to be joining us at the next Groove Digital Presents. All right, so thank you very much for all of you for joining us. That is our show here today. Let us know in the comments if you have anything else to say, if you have any questions, if you have some additional nice words to say to Mr. Fabian Lim. And of course, we will see you all the way at the top. Cheers, folks. We'll see you at Groove Digital Presents with Mr. Fabian Lim. We'll catch you soon.
Take care.